No, that's a good. So Dave, out of those lists, because you did not rank, what stands out? Who's too low? Because I have a feeling you're going to tell me someone's too low.
Davante Adams is way too low. He's
And
only
that's the
30.
guy we were going to talk about.
He's only 30. You guys are acting like he just died. I mean, I
How
get
did
that.
Dave know exactly what we were going to talk about?
Because that's absurd, and you know it. Like, you know,
well, it's
he's too low.
highlighted
Like,
too
I'm
on
not.
the list he's looking at. So
He's too low. I'm sorry. I mean, that's just the one that stands out the most to me that I see. So
the thing
I'll
is,
say that.
we're not talking about redraft though. We're talking about dynasty. So if you're drafting today, you're going to take who are you going to take Davante Adams over?
I take him over a couple of these guys. I'll tell you who.
Are you taking him over Jordan Addison?
Yes.
Or Zay Flowers?
Yes.
Nico Collins?
Nico Collins, maybe. I don't know. That one's close because
Tank
he was
Dell.
so good. But probably, I don't know. Y'all have all three of those guys back to back to back.
Yeah,
somebody's going to fall off. That
was purposely done, by the way.
I'd probably take Davante over Debo, over Jaden Reed, Jordan Addison, JSN, Flower. I mean, I'd move him up at least 5 or 6 spots.
I don't know. If we're talking about dynasty, like those are going to be studs. They're going into their second, maybe third year of the NFL. This is where they're going to start like actually producing. We talked about Justin Jefferson, how it doesn't matter who's throwing him the ball, but we found with the Raiders, it does matter who throws Davante Adams the ball. Like, and who is going to throw that ball? Is it going to be Aiden O'Connell? Is it going to be Gardner Minshew? If it's going to be Gardner, then okay.
I like
Davante Adams is way too low.
So
Davante should be like a top 10 wide receiver if Gardner's throwing the ball.
Okay, here's the bottom line, people. And Davante Adams not dead. And this one strictly was age for me. It was strictly age and strictly because the production's there. He had 100 catches last year. He had 1,100 yards, which was his lowest yard count since 2019. That was his lowest yard countage. That's true. Lowest touchdown since 2019 as well. He only had 8. He's had double digits in 2020, 2021, and 2022. Very low yards per reception, 11.1. That is by far his lowest since 2015. So yes, he had 175 targets. Yes, he had 100 catches, but the production was barely there for Davante Adams. I want to see more. Not many times do 32-year-old receivers. You said he's only 30, Dave. He's going to be 32 years old.
I was looking at the wrong. He's ranked 30th. For some reason, I thought that was his age.
Yeah, so he's going to be 32 going into the season or sniffing 32 years old. Let me ask you this. In Dynasty Leagues, Dave, how many people are buying Davante Adams?
Nobody.
Nobody. And when you try to sell Davante Adams, what are you going to get?
You're not going to get – you're going to have to hold him and hope he balls out, which he will. He'll have some big games and try to sell him if that's your plan.
And I took that into account in my rankings. I have him at 31. I'm like, okay – Dynasty wise, he's still a wide receiver 1 like for this season. I think he's going to produce. He's going to put up the numbers. He's going to demand the targets. But I like to bake in trade value into these rankings as well. And I like to bake in value, of course, because I don't think I could trade Davante Adams for JSN right now. I don't think I can. I think people are going to hold on to JSN and hope for the best. That's just the way it is. Do I think Davante Adams is going to finish wide receiver 31? No. But I don't think if I had Davante Adams on my team, I'd be looking to sell him right now. And I think you would too. Because that's a smart thing to do. Correct?
Depending on your team.
Of course, depending on your team. But in general, that's what we would do. And I roster him in a few leagues, and I can't get rid of him. Nobody wants him. 1, because he's on the Raiders. 2, because of the quarterback situation, because people think that's so important. And 3, because he's 32 years old.
I think he's great buy low. If I could get him cheap, I would buy him in a second.
Yes. 1,000% agree with that. If I can get him cheap. But what's cheap?
I mean, I don't know. That's to be determined. But, I don't know. I don't know what's cheap. Would you trade a late first for him? Or early second? I would trade an early second for him in a second.
Depends what the early second is. Like 204?
202.
I would go mid second.
I would give 201. I would even give 201 probably for him. I might give 112. What's the difference? You know why? Well, first of all, we already know that if someone sees 112 versus 201, their difference, they think, oh my God, it's a second round pick. The difference is nothing. It's one pick.
I know.
I would give up 112 for him, honestly, because you're not going to get – I mean, I know this is a pretty good deep draft-ish, but, like,
I
The guy
think
at 112 for
I think
Davante
down
Adams?
there right now we're looking at guys like Lad McConkey, Troy Franklin,
Yeah, like those
and
guys.
if somehow people are dumb, Roma Dunze maybe falling way down to the end of the first round. I would rather have those 4. Maybe not Troy Franklin,
I was
actually.
gonna say this guy. I don't even know who Troy Franklin is. Is he? Isn't he the R&B singer? I'm glad you guys got that. Thank you.
Dave, I'm glad you're back, Dave. I'm so glad you are back on the show. So we're looking at okay. Look, I usually don't address comments now with our new format, by the way, but I have to address this comment. Josh Wingate in the chat about Davante Adams. Then why are you trying to get rid of him when the value to keep is greater than the trade value? Did I read that right? Then why are you trying to get rid of him when the value to keep is greater than the value to trade?
Yeah, you should keep him. That's what we said.
Yeah, keep him because you can't get rid of him. That's the problem. When you roster a player you can't get rid of,
you keep him.
You have to hold on to him.
But then you realize you're in trouble.
It's like the guys who have Travis Kelce and only Travis Kelce right now, and that's
okay. Did I say this right? When you have a player on your roster that no longer holds value to trade, that's when you know you're in trouble. That's when you know the decline is real because no one's no longer interested in that player. So you have a declining asset on your roster that you can't get rid of no matter what. And now you're just stuck with them. The people with the Julio Jones of the world, the people with, I'm just trying to think of more players that just you couldn't trade to save your life. And that's the problem with Dynasty is you want to be able to move players and gain more assets. Now Davante Adams is a losing asset on your team.
I think Davante Adams is the guy who you should have tried to trade last year before the trade deadline, if there's a deadline, because his value is never going to get any higher than it is right now. And really, the only people that are going to be buying Davante Adams are the guys who are competing, and they want that extra guy on their roster to win a championship. If you have him on a developing roster, get literally anything you can out of him. Because honestly, like he's not going to do anything for your roster this year, next year, or the year after. He might actually win you a game, a close game, which is going to screw up your draft position. So I'd be trying to get rid of him for developmental players or draft picks or